The question is philanthropy versus charity. In according to Judaism, which one is better? And of course, when I looked up the meaning of both words, philanthropy is explained as it's focused on helping people and solving their problems over long term, whereas charity is focused on immediate relief to people and is often driven by emotions.
That is very interesting. I think what it's suggesting is that one of them is motivated by kindness and the other is motivated by compassion. And those are very different emotions. So they're both emotional, but kindness produces philanthropy, compassion produces charity, if that's the difference between charity and philanthropy. So if it's emergency based on immediate need, that's more compassion. Where kindness doesn't react to emergency, it's just a generosity of spirit. So philanthropy means the pleasure of giving. Charity means the pain of seeing people suffer. So are you reacting to pleasure or are you reacting to pain? But there's a third level. Both philanthropy and charity have one thing in common. You're giving away your money, which is noble, which is great, which is self-sacrificing. Right? You're giving away your money. Why would you do that? Well, either because you have pleasure in kindness or because you can't stand seeing people suffer. But there's a third possibility, and that is it doesn't feel like your money. It doesn't feel like you're giving away your money. Because to many people, and this is really special and noble, the money I don't need is not really mine or not meant for me. Legally, of course, it's mine. And anybody who takes it is stealing. But the way I see it and the way I relate to it is that if I don't need it, then it obviously was not meant for me. So when I give it away, I'm simply delivering it to the right address because it wasn't meant for me. So it's like return to sender. This was not my money. So when I see somebody who needs, I think, oh, it was probably for this person. So it doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing. I'm not doing anything amazing. It was not meant for me. Or another way of thinking of it, I can use it. I can enjoy this money. It's never too much money. So I can use it, but so can you. And who says my using it is more valid than your using it? And that's what we call tzedakah. Because the word tzedakah, which is translated as charity, is a bit contradictory. Because tzedakah means to give charity, but the word tzedakah means righteous. Righteousness. Is it righteousness to give away your money? So, in the true sense of tzedakah, the instinct or the feeling is, this is not my money. It was not meant for me. It's only right that I give it to somebody who really needs it. So it's not kindness, it's not generosity, it's not the pain of seeing people suffer. It's simply right. The money is not rightfully for me, it is rightfully meant for you. So the word for giving is rightful. Give the money to its rightful recipient, because you're not the one. That's a godly instinct. Any human being can have a compassion streak in them or a kindness, generosity streak. That's human, and it's beautiful. But this feeling that my money was not really meant for me, it's just my job to deliver it, that's godly. That's a whole different realm. You can be generous thoughtlessly, just throw money at people, just for the fun of it. Or you can be thoughtful about it. You can be a little intelligent about it. You want your generosity to produce the greatest results, the most meaningful results. So then it becomes a question of what do you find meaningful? So some people will donate to a hospital, some to a school, some to a museum, depending on what you think is the most meaningful. So it's a combination of kindness and intelligence, which again is very special because all thoughtful emotion is a sign of a real human being. Animals can be kind. They can be generous. But it's not thoughtful. It's not value-based. Whereas a human being, even when they have a strong impulse of charity, of generosity, kindness, they do it with intelligence. They bring the mind to the heart and combine them so that you have an intelligent emotion.
So the question is this better to donate to causes, to groups, or to individuals? How is that valued?
Ideally, you never say no. So if an individual approaches you and asks for help, how can you say no? It's against my policy to be nice to people individually. That's not a good policy. Yeah, the bulk of my tzedakah, the bulk of my donations will go to organizations and institutions and so on. And okay, that's legitimate. But if somebody asks, of course, you can't walk away. But you don't go looking. Some people go looking for a good cause to donate to. Some people look for people. They actually go and find them. Who's hungry? Who's suffering? So you don't have to go looking for it, but if it comes your way, you don't say no.
But isn't it greater to benefit many by donating to a cause and have a lot of people benefit from the money that a person donates rather than to an individual? And plus, you're never sure, is this individual, just lazy, or is this individual really hit hardships? And so you kind of have to figure it out. Are your money going to the right cause, or is maybe somebody actually trying to take advantage of you?
So compassion doesn't make that kind of inquiry. If somebody is begging, whether it's because they're financially really in trouble, or it's an emotional problem that they just got into the habit of taking other people's money. Either way, it's very sad and painful to watch. So you don't go doing an investigation. Compassion kicks in, and not only do you give, but you give compassionately, so that the person knows that you care, that it bothers you, that they're in pain, whether it's hunger, literal hunger, or some emotional hole in their heart that can't be filled, which makes them go around begging and they've got lots of money sitting under their mattress or something. Well, that's pretty sad too. So compassion reacts to either one of them. And compassion is not a study. It's not a topic. It's an impulse. And we should have that. So again, you don't have to walk down the streets looking for miserable people. Some people love it, do it, make a career out of it, which is amazing and fantastic. Other people feel, like you say, my money can go to better causes, meaning maybe preventative. How do you make society healthier that you don't have a bunch of beggars and a bunch of homeless and street people? And so you'd rather do the preventative than the remedial. But either way, we should be very proud of ourselves, not just the Jewish people, but the American people. Very generous.
Yeah, I did actually a little digging and found that Jewish people give 20% more charity than all other groups, let's put it this way. So then the question is, why do we have a reputation about being cheap?
It's always the big lie. If you're going to lie, you got to go to the biggest lie possible. So it's always the exact opposite of what's true. But no, I mean, nobody doubts, nobody has any argument with this statistic. Americans are very generous, and Jews are 20 times more. Now it's a question of, where do you want your money to go? And there's also a generosity of personal devotion, not just financial. People volunteering, doing jobs, running errands for others, donating their body and their energy and their time. That's charity too. That's tzedakah. So you can be charitable with your time, with your money, with your body, even with your soul. Sometimes you give up some soulful benefit for somebody else's physical benefit. That's beautiful.
Rabbi Friedman, what does charity or philanthropy do for the soul of a person?
It certainly affects the soul, but it affects the rest of the world as well. Giving charity brings God to the world because God finds that irresistible. It's almost like if you're going to be charitable and you have limited, finite resources, then God feels like, hey, I can't do any less than that. If you're charitable, I'm going to be charitable. And if I'm going to be charitable, it's going to be infinite because I don't know how to do things in small portions. So it literally brings God into the world more than all the other mitzvahs.
How can we motivate people to give? And is it the right thing to do to motivate people to give, or just, everybody should take care of their own business and not worry about other people?
One of the most generous, kind things you can do for someone is introduce them to the pleasures of giving or to the pain. Either way. But back in Russia, there was a lot of giving. It wasn't impressive because you didn't have much to give. But people gave away their last piece of bread. It was really divine. the Chabad underground yeshivas that kept Judaism alive in the worst times, who supported that? People gave away their last ruble. And see, the idea that if I don't need it, then it's probably not meant for me, that can be understood in many ways. Like if you're worth $100 billion, it doesn't take too much brain power to figure out that it was not meant for you. You don't need it. You can't need it. So there's no question that this was not meant for you. But what about a person who has enough money for 2 meals, and yet he feels one meal was meant for me, the other is not meant for me? Because right now, I only need 1 meal. What's going to be tomorrow? That's for tomorrow. But right now, I have money that I don't need, which means I don't need it now. And if I don't need it now, it wasn't meant for me. So there were people who would never go to sleep with money in their pocket. Because why should you have money while you're sleeping? You don't need it. You're not going to need it until you get up. Well, there are people who are hungry right now who can't sleep because the hunger doesn't let them. They need it. You don't. That was the mentality back in Russia. If I don't need it right now, I'm giving it away to those who do need it right now. The amounts of tzedakah we give today is obviously much more impressive. But the giving instinct was always there. Even the poorest of the poor find opportunity to give.
A lot of people have fear of giving. So they maybe they have, but they'll give it away now, but what's going to happen later? So there's always that little fear going on.
That's like, what does it mean, I don't need it? How do you measure that? Do I need $100 billion? No. Do I need a second meal right now? No. But what if? What if I need it? Isn't that a need too? In a sense, it is. You need to have that security. I can't blame people if you have that instinct or that fear, then yes, you need it. It's very easy. There's an old expression. It's very easy to put your trust in God when you have a few ruble in your pocket. Sure, now I trust God. But with empty pockets, it's very hard to. So some people actually really need that security. To push themselves beyond that would be very impressive. But if we appreciated and if we understood and if we could somehow measure the power of holiness and goodness that charity produces compared to other mitzvahs that also produce holiness and goodness and make the world a brighter and better place. Every mitzvah does that. But tzedakah stands out. It is a very powerful force of goodness.
If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us, take a look, click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.